Hey, what's up, guys? Dan over here at Pekoe. So I came out with a video talking all about those changes, the changes to insured mortgages in Canada. That was announced by the federal government a few days ago. And just to recap here, this article by Reuters, there was a lot of them that started speaking about it because it started to create some waves, some talks in, is this going to help with the market? Obviously, there's a couple forces at play. Some folks say that the housing market is overpriced, and some are worried that they can't get into the market simply because for the areas they want to buy in, it could be a little too high for them. Now, today's current insured mortgage qualification criteria basically dictates that if you've got a purchase and it's under $1 million, you can get mortgage default insurance. This is offered by one of three insurance providers in Canada, CMHC being sort of the main one, Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation. They are a Crown corporation, federally owned. And then there are two private ones. So, but they basically all say the same thing. If you are buying, it's under $1 million, you can do a sliding scale. Under $500,000 or under, it is 5% down, and then all the way up to $1 million less a dollar, you get 10%, right? So theoretically, it is going to be $75,000 or $74,999 as a minimum down payment with a maximum purchase price of $1 million. But hold the boat, hold the show, hold the everything. Things have changed a little bit, and the federal government had come out with this bombshell. It's a little bit of a change where the maximum insurable mortgage can be $1.5 million and the maximum amortization changes. Before it was 25 years, now it's 30 years. So this is going to unlock a lot of properties that were otherwise ineligible for mortgage default insurance. It also means that if you were buying at $1.5 million, you'd have to come up with 20% down. That's $300,000. You could get an uninsured mortgage at that point, aka conventional, and they'll amortize it over 30 years. Now, as of the changes coming into play in December, you can get an insured mortgage, meaning that the minimum down payment would be less. By my calculations, it'd be $125,000, and you can qualify over 30 years. And for some people, it would make sense if they didn't want to pick up and go and change communities. But at the same time, it also brings up the question, if it's available, should you actually take advantage of it, or is this just putting you deeper in debt? Now, the one thing that, and I did post a TikTok video on this that sparked a lot of conversation, and I'm so grateful for it because there were a lot of people that did say this is not doing much for affordability. And I totally agree. I think someone had stated, they said, it's like we have an obesity epidemic and you're just giving us bigger pants. And I guess that's an analogy that would be timely on this. But one thing that we're not talking about is that it also is going to impact insurable mortgages. So let's recap what an insurable mortgage is. If you have a mortgage and you're coming up for renewal, let's say 5 years ago you purchased, you had a 30-year amortization, and you bought and the property was under $1 million. Well, now you're coming up for renewal. Your existing lender is going to provide you some renewal options. Maybe they're not the best. And you speak to a mortgage broker who says, hey, look, there are other rates on the market. But we find out your property is valued at over $1 million. You're not eligible for an insurable transfer. An insurable transfer or switch to a new lender is going to afford you the lowest interest rates on the market. But up until now, before the government made these announcements, the maximum was $1 million. Now we can push it to $1.5 million, meaning that if you purchased 5 years ago, almost certainly that house has gone up quite a bit in value. But if you peaked over $1 million, you become ineligible for an insurable transfer rate. The banks pay this mortgage default insurance. It's not coming out of your pocket. But your benefit is that you get to capitalize on these lower interest rates at renewal time. And, you don't have to do the math on it. If you can get a lower interest rate versus a higher interest rate, you're going to pay less interest. You're also likely paying less payments every month. So it helps with cash flow. So that's where the affordability, where I really think this could come in and help folks out. Anyway, guys, that's just an update on the insurable changes happening in December.